Shrapnel.
Hello, one and all, to the I've fucked it up already, Craig.
Please leave it, please.
Oh yeah, I'll keep that. I'll keep that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Film Shrapnel monthly roundup. It is March, the beginning of March. Hello, Craig. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, pretty well.
Excellent. I'm really ill. I'm like really ill. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Because you like to torture yourself.
I know. I just love talking about films that much. But hello, everyone. We are Film Shrapnel. Today, we're going to be talking about something we love, something we hate, and something we want to see more of. I'm quite excited for this week, Craig.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I will have to admit, though, this was a bit of a struggle this month because I've been trying to catch up with all the Oscars stuff. So I've had to pick a couple of things that I saw a little while ago, and I'm trying to use them.
Fair enough.
But I think they're good stuff.
Well, I think that's a nice little teaser for the audience that we will be doing a live watch of the Oscars. That will be coming soon.
Yeah, we'll see it live. We'll see how we do this because I actually don't know yet. But we're going to talk about it. That's the plan.
We'll figure it out. Right. Well, the way this works, me and Craig get 5 minutes each to discuss, or we'll just talk about something that we've watched, whether we liked it, hated it, or want to see more. Are you ready, Craig? You're the timekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go love first. Shall I go first, or do you want to go first?
Do you want to go first this time?
Go on then.
Go on.
I haven't written notes though, Craig.
That's okay. I forgive you. You'll do your best. I don't worry about your ability to talk, Tobias.
Okay. I suppose I'll take that as a compliment. I suppose I choose to at least. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm gonna press start now.
Okay. So the film I want to talk about is a film called Infinity Pool. I don't know if you've heard of it, Craig, but it's I'm pretty sure I'm getting this right. It's David Cronenberg's son. He's made this film, and it's actually pretty. I really enjoyed it. Like I had a right laugh. It's about this Australian couple. It's one of the Skarsgård brothers playing the lead. I recognize a couple of the actors. That girl, I forget her name now, but that girl from X and Pearl, she's in it. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. I quite enjoyed it. It's about this couple. They go to this fictitious country that's like impoverished, and they have sort of I think it's a European country, and they have these backward laws. So what happened is he gets involved with these like highbrow people that sort of take advantage of like the people less fortunate, you know, and so they can have like this lavish lifestyle on this holiday. Anyway, so they accidentally run someone over, and the law in this country is if you kill someone, the eldest son of the family has to kill you back to preserve honor. But as a tourist incentive and like this policy they've got in their sort of partnership with other countries for tourism, they have like a service they'll provide where they'll basically clone you, and then the clone will get executed on your behalf. But as the caveat is, you have to watch it. You have to be present while watching this clone getting killed. And basically, like, it's a weird setup, really unique, and I really like it. But basically, you know, they start taking advantage of this system because they know there's literally no repercussions for them, because, you know, even if you kill someone, your clone will just take the execution, and you just get to go on your merry way, sort of thing. And they just keep taking advantage of the system over and over and over again. And I actually don't want to go into spoilers on this one. I feel like I've given enough of the setup, but I don't want to spoil the film. I actually want people to go and watch this one. It's a really good little flick. I highly enjoyed it. It's a bit weird. It's very fucking weird, but I really liked it, and I honestly think everyone should watch it. It's fucking nuts. It's really mental. Like, the direction is, there's nothing hugely special about it visually, except for like there's some trippy bits throughout, which I think sometimes feel a little bit misplaced. But I'm really only nitpicking. Like, it is a good film, but like there's a couple of like directorial flourishes that maybe linger a bit on the pretentious side more than appealing to for the audience. But I really am only nitpicking because I still liked it. I could just see how people might not like it because it might be considered a bit up itself. But I still really liked it. I really am only being nitpicky. I think it's a really good little film, and I think it's nice that David Cronenberg's son is making sort of Cronenberg-esque films, because it does feel like the kind of thing Cronenberg would have done, in his heyday. It's just not very body horror. Like, obviously Cronenberg's all about the body horror, and his son, I think his name is Brandon Cronenberg, is more, on the psychological, because obviously there's this scene where the wife is like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. You've literally just watched yourself get murdered. Let's get the fuck out of here. And, through circumstance, they have to stay. And all I'll say is it eventually gets to a point where she just fucks off and leaves him. But just leaves him there. Like, all right, fine. You follow me out when you're ready. But yeah, I don't want to give away much more of the film. It's excellent. I highly recommend it.
That's your 5 minutes.
Perfect timing. Infinity Pool. Really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. And some of the performances are excellent. Like these upper class guys, they're just so fucking awful. It's kind of brilliant. They're written so terrible. Like, they're just awful people.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did see that on Netflix maybe yesterday or today, and I was like, oh,
really?
I haven't heard. Yeah, but I didn't think because I remember you were saying before about Brandon Cronenberg, and you were saying, yeah, he seems quite cool, his stuff. Because there was something else also you watched from him. I think Blake recommended it to you.
I forget now. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I didn't know that was Cronenberg's son. I saw a poster. I can't looked like two people shouting or something. I was like, okay, but I'm assuming because these days I see something on Netflix and it has a name like Infinity Pool, and I think probably that's shit. But now I know that it's a Cronenberg thing, his son's thing. I might actually give that a go. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Well, I just like how he's not strayed too far away from his dad's stuff. It just does feel like a new generation of Cronenberg. I liked it.
Nice.
I recommend. Highly recommend.
Should I do my one now before we get too long?
Go on.
All right.
Yeah, go for it.
Start now. So about a month or two ago, or maybe a bit more, I watched something I really liked called Landscapers. It's got David Furlewis in it, or if that's how you pronounce his name, I always forget how you pronounce it. And Olivia Colman. Hewless, is it? Anyway, basically, it's based on a true story of this man and woman. I'm not sure actually if they were married. They actually murdered her parents, buried them in the garden, and then fucked off to France for about 15 years before anyone even knew what happened. That's where the name comes in, Landscapers, because they buried the bodies under like some plants or something, a bush that grew up above it. And like it wasn't until because they were basically living off of her father's pension, I think. And the Home Office wanted to call him up and like ask, like just to interview him because he was going to turn 100 years old, and they kind of panicked and they needed money, and then basically they find out that these two people were murdered, but that no one knew for 15 years, just weren't there. And this is a real story that happened. Like the murders, I think, were in 1998, and then it wasn't until like 2013 that they were ever arrested. And they really practiced the whole time that if they ever got caught, what they would say, and it just falls apart. And eventually they go to prison for murder for like 25 years or something like that. And they're really tragic people. And like David Lewis, whatever, and Olivia Colman. Fewless. They're really good. They're really good in this. This is really very actor-centric show. It's only 4 episodes. And yeah, they're really good. They're really good at playing
it's a
tragic.
show.
Yeah, it's just 4 episodes. Very good at playing this like kind of tragic couple because he's very emotionally torn up. Like I think he lost his mother and he lost his brother before, and it really hit him very badly. Like he's a very lonely guy. And then you have Olivia Colman's character. She has very horrible parents. She really hates them, and she's stuck living with them. And eventually, they end up killing them. But like the whole feel of it feels very theatrical. It really feels like theatrical. I mean, as if like this is meant to be on a stage, because especially with how some of the scenes change, we have some parts where like we go from reality to some imaginary situation, and it just always reminds me of how like go to a play and when we move from scene to scene, but the characters stay and the set pieces start moving. It felt really like that. And the director is a guy called Will Sharp, and I think he's done a few other things recently, and I think we're probably going to see a lot more of him in the next few years. He was really good at directing the show. And there was also some pretty good comedy in as well. It's actually quite funny. It feels like it should really just be a straight comedy. It's a comedy tragedy kind of thing. And there was 2 other actors in this show who played the 2 officers who were investigating. I don't remember their names. I don't think I've ever seen them before, but they were brilliant as well. They really played the police as very dumb. And I think that's kind of because it took them so long, like 15 years, to even know that this couple had disappeared and they were just murdered, like in their own back garden, just left there for ages. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy how, that could have happened. And by the end of it, I think it turns into kind of like a courtroom kind of thing. And yeah, I solidly recommend it for like a fit for. Right. I think each one's like about an hour or something. Yeah, I'm like a minute
Anyone
short.
Else in it?
I really don't know. Really don't know anybody else who I could say is in it. It's really an actor's piece. Like I think this is kind of one of those things that after Olivia Colman got really big, this is like another chance that she's had to kind of stamp her feet and show that she's really, really fucking good. Because David Fellows,
yeah,
he's in fucking he's in so many things, and I actually the main reason I wanted to watch it because he was in it and Olivia Colman, and it's like, okay, I'm definitely seeing this. Yeah, I like them both. I've stopped 30 seconds early because I've literally run out of stuff to say, but yeah, I really do recommend it. If you want something to watch over a weekend,
you've sold it. Yeah, you've definitely sold it on me. I like both actors involved.
I was going to say, every time we do this, I forget how much we talk. And like my mouth is just constantly dry because God, I've got 5 minutes to fucking talk. Blah, 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 blah. And just have to drink water all the time. Yeah, sorry.
I'm just drinking Tabasco sauce. Christopher Walken said that that's what he did for Pulp Fiction just before they started shooting his monologue. And that's how he kept his mouth moist. And so he was able to keep going on the monologue because he kept doing it all in one take, apparently.
That's pretty amazing if it's true, or that could be a really big prank by Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Anyway, bit of a tangent there. So, should we get into hate?
Yes, please.
You can start the clock on me. Just let me know. But I suppose I don't hate this movie. I just didn't like it.
All right. We'll keep that in mind. I'm pressing start now.
Okay, so The film I'm going to talk about, I think, is called Knock at the Cabin. I think that's what it's called. I didn't write it down. So it's the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, if it's called Knock at the Cabin. And it's got Batista in it. That was pretty much what sold me on watching it. It's got Batista and M. Night made it. So I'm like, go on then. Let's see what this is going to be. Let's see what twist you're going to throw at me this time, M. Night. Go on, I'm strapped in ready. Let's do it. So the general setup is this family are staying in this log cabin for like a holiday, I guess, or a getaway. And the family are two gay husbands and their adopted Japanese daughter. Now, don't get me wrong, I've got a feeling some people are going to come out like saying maybe this is too woke or something. I didn't find anything too like it wasn't sort of too woke if you want to use that as a term. Like it was pretty I thought it was well handled. I cared about both the characters. I thought I bought their relationship. I really felt the love of the family. The fact that they're gay is only relevant for like a minor part of the story, and then it's really not important for the rest of it. So I like that. You know, I like that it's not drawn. You know, they don't draw so much attention on it where it becomes like, well, I mean, hang on, what are you trying to say? You know, it didn't seem confused with its own message. Like it was just about a family and the parents happen to be the same gender. Like that, really, that's it. It was nicely handled. But it's just the direction, like the story itself isn't a bad idea. So they're staying in this cabin and then they start getting terrorized by these four people that are breaking in. But they're being like, and they're led by Batista, but they're being super nice, like super friendly. And they're like, they've tied them up and knocked one out, broke the other one's leg, tied them up. And then, you know, they start introducing themselves like, yeah, I'm so-and-so. I come from here. I like, you know, going for walks on the beach, shit like that. Like they're being super nice. It's really weird. And then Batista finally reveals, oh, it's got Rupert Grint in, fucking Ron Weasley's in it. And so basically Batista reveals that the four of them have been chosen by God to come to this cabin and then force the three of you to figure out which amongst you needs to die, kill that person, and it will prevent the apocalypse. And that's the setup to the movie. And obviously, you know, they don't believe it. And they're like, look, if you don't believe it, we have to, and you refuse to choose, we have to unleash a plague. And so when they don't choose, they kill one of themselves. So like the four become three. So they kill one of themselves because they can't kill the family. And then when they kill them, they turn on the TV and a tsunami hits an island. And the one that hasn't been concussed, he's like, well, look, you know, that's not a live report. You could have timed that, you know, because you keep looking at your watch. And then it happens again where they have to kill another one. And then they turn on the TV and there's like a COVID-like virus that's only affecting children who like under the age of 10. And then, but then the guy's like, yeah, but I've been reading reports about this virus. Again, this proves fucking nothing. You guys are just in some suicide cult. But like, obviously, I mean, I don't feel like this is the thing. I could reveal. I'm just going to reveal it. It's not even a twist. So it turns out that it is the apocalypse. They do believe it. And so the third one that they end up killing, all the like 700 planes immediately crash. And it's live. But then, so it's not really a twist because that happens sort of at the beginning of Act 3. And so then the rest of Act 3 is, you know, the last of the four of them. Yeah, well, look, that's it. The twist, the thing is, there is no twist. There is no twist. That's the annoying thing about it, is you're watching an M. Night Shyamalan film. You've branded your whole career. No, I'm not stopping. You branded your whole career on your fucking twists, and you use the twist up at the beginning of Act 3. Like you don't, like at least put your twist at the end of the film. But anyway, I will say that I found out that it was based on a book, and the book ends differently to the movie. And I think the book ending thematically makes far more sense. I definitely would have went with the book ending, but they went for a different ending. I think in the book ending, it's way more ambiguous as to whether it's really the apocalypse or not.
That's
And or
interesting.
and the events of the book, like the events of the final act, are very different in the book.
It sounds like a really like I was thinking like 2.5 minutes into you doing that's like Tobias, you're selling me on this when you shouldn't be selling me on this.
I know
It's actually a really nice story.
it's a really nice setup, man. I was really hoping that I'd like it, but it's just something in the direction. Like I just feel like there's so. I thought Batista was good. I just thought he was bad for the role, but he's actually really good in it. I just don't buy him in this particular role. I thought Rupert Grint was the best thing in it, and he's not in it very long. And it's sort of it's kind of disappointing that he's not in it, because I really did like him. But I thought Batista was pretty good, just wrong for the part. I thought the gay couple were really good. I really liked both of them. I thought they had great chemistry. The little girl, I mean, child actors, they're hit and miss. And she was neither. She was fine, I guess. I'm pretty sure one of the other. So it was Rupert Grint, Batista, uh, some actress I've never seen before, and there's a woman in it. I'm pretty sure she was in Get Out. I'm pretty sure she was in Get Out, but not as a main character. But I'm sure I recognize her from something. Maybe Get Out. I think she's like the maid, or well, is she the maid? You haven't seen Get Out, have you? I don't want to spoil Get Out for you.
I haven't seen it yet. No,
That's really bad. You need to fucking
I,
watch
I
Get
need
Out.
to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I recognize her from Get Out. I think it's Get Out. I recognize her from. I haven't seen Get Out in a while. We definitely need to do that for the pod. So yeah, look, I'm not saying don't watch this new M Night movie. I'm just saying it's really annoying that you're waiting for a twist that doesn't come. Because I thought it was pretty obvious that the apocalypse was going to happen. Like they're building to it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm buying this. This is going to be the apocalypse. And then when they reveal it, it's not really much of a surprise. So you're not really thinking that that's the twist. So I'm
Well,
still waiting for the twist, and I don't feel there is a twist.
M Night, maybe he's trying to branch out. He's trying to try something new. Doesn't want to always be the twist guy.
The last time he didn't put a twist in, it was that Avatar Last Airbender movie, and that was universally hated.
Ah, okay. So then he needs to put a twist in, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what he's good at. I won't lie though, I'd never watched Avatar the anime,
Me neither.
and I actually thought the movie was fine for like a kids film, kids action film. I was like, yeah, I reckon kids would like that. Like, I don't think it's meant to be aimed at fans of the show. I think it was aimed at kids. I thought, yeah, this is fine. It actually made me curious to go and watch the anime. Where I was like, oh, I thought this was all right enough. I didn't hate it. This is the thing, but I had no preconceptions going in on Avatar at all. I'd heard of it, but I'd never watched it. So yeah,
Nice.
bit of a tangent again. Sorry.
Again.
Are you ready to tell me what you hated? I feel
Yeah.
like I haven't really explained why I hate this movie, though. I just think, yeah, I'm just disappointed that there's no twist. But yeah, go on. Your turn.
Okay, I'm going to talk about something absolutely dog shit. All right, I'm starting now.
All right.
Okay, so for a while now, me and my wife have been trying to show my daughter Val Star Wars. So we watched the original three. About a week or two ago, we started to watch The Phantom Menace. And fucking hell, man, this fucking film. I as soon as we started watching it, I was like, okay, we're definitely doing this in the podcast. I know I'm gonna hate for the next one for a long time coming. And like, man, it's just really fucking boring. It's really, really fucking boring film. Like, okay, the first three, episodes 4 to 6, I didn't really care for anyway, to be honest. Some people hate me for saying that, but I've never been really much of a Star Wars fan.
Me
But
neither.
then Phantom Menace was just such a mess, man. Like the setup is really boring, and like nothing happens for fucking ages. And you like thinking, why couldn't they have done like sped this up a little bit? Do we really need so much context here? I mean, we could have just got right to the point of it. And then like the other thing, I think you've mentioned this before with some DC films. The film doesn't really know what it wants to be. Like at 1 minute, it's really serious. We're talking about like a trade embargo and some bullshit like this, and some tax laws, I think, or something, which is why these countries, these planets are fighting each other. And then the next minute, we all googly gaggly and like fucking. It's like it's trying to be a kids' film. It's like you can't do that. There's just too far a gap. Like you, yeah, I get like there are films that can target like family audiences and get the parents and the kids all to enjoy themselves, and that's great. But this film really doesn't do that. Like it's always really far one side, really far the other, and I really think that's because I think Lucas maybe was given way too much power, and I think he just thought by this point, I'll make it a Star Wars film. Of course, it's going to be brilliant. Yeah, I'll just do it the way I want to do it, and it's going to be great. And like, I just keep thinking how disappointed some people must have been back then, because this film was 16 years after the third film. I'm thinking, fuck me. Could you imagine how disappointed you would be by this
Yeah.
mess? And then
I actually watched this in the cinema when it first came out.
you poor bastard. And then like there was
It's the only film I've ever fell asleep in the cinema.
I wouldn't be surprised. And it's the other stuff as well that was bugging me. Like, for example, the kid who plays Anakin is really fucking annoying. I'm sorry, kid. I know you were just saying nice things about another kid, but this kid who plays Anakin is the most annoying kid I've ever seen in my life. And then there's some other stuff happening. Like, for example, I think it's Paname or the Queen of Naboo. She's always talking about the people of my planet are suffering. They're suffering, and like you never see them suffer. You never see.
Is that Natalie Portman?
Yeah, like her planet's been invaded by another planet, and you're expecting like where you don't actually see any casualties here. You never see like the people struggling, and like you don't really care because you don't see any of it. Like, where are these fucking people that are suffering? And which brings me on to the next thing: is that on Tatooine, where Anakin grows up, his they keep talking about how he's a slave and his mother is a slave, and I keep thinking like they've got pretty good lives for slaves. Like they have their own house. I don't see them doing any work. No one's bossing around or beating them. I'm like, are they really slaves? Like they're buying him from slavery or some shit? Like I don't know. It just felt kind of. They could have made it look more like it's supposed to be. I don't know. And then as the next thing that was really fucked up, which I completely forgot about, was how many racial stereotypes there are in this fucking film. So you have Jar Jar Binks, who's supposed to be like, I guess, Caribbean people. I also read somewhere online that some people have suggested that his whole tribe of people are supposed to be like representative of like an African country or something. There are the aliens that are invading, which I think are supposed to be like some kind of East Asian stereotype. And then there's the other guy, the one that owns Anakin.
The Jewish one.
Yes. And like, fuck me, man. How the fuck did they get away with all this? It's absolutely ridiculous. And like Jar Jar Binks, really fucking annoying. Like I really forgot. I remember people saying that. As a kid, I don't think I saw it. But like now I'm in now I'm 30. It's like, fuck me. Like that's such a stupid idea. But yeah. It's really just fucking boring. That's the main thing. It's boring. It's not good for a kids' film, and it's not good like for the adults either. I don't know. Like that was just stupid. I think it's also the lowest rated Star Wars film as well. That's my 5 minutes.
Well, I've got a couple of opinions on Phantom Menace because, like, it really is universally hated. It is the only film I've ever fell asleep in the cinema. But I was like 8, I think. I think it was 8 or something when it first came out. And like you, I didn't really like. I wasn't a huge fan anyway of the Star Wars franchise. I like it. It's just I don't love it like everyone else does. I'm like, it's all right. But the Phantom Menace, like I know you find the kid irritating. I haven't watched it in years, but I was about the same age as that kid when it came out. So I thought he was cool when I first watched it. But I can see why he's annoying. I thought, look, I don't care what anyone says. The fucking fight at the end with Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and Jai Kondo, what's his name?
uh,
Jai
Jin,
Kondo.
new martial arts. Jin something. Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon, yeah. So that fight is fucking great. Like, is there any better fight scene in a? Is there any better lightsaber fight than that? I don't think so. It's
I don't
really
know.
good.
I will tell you that I was also looking forward to that part of the film, and I was thinking, oh, maybe the action will make up for the how boring
Yeah,
everything else is, and like it
and it
was.
doesn't.
It doesn't really. It was actually a lot shorter than I remembered. I thought there was more fighting, but there's really not much
I mean,
action.
does, does Samuel L. Jackson not bring anything to it? I always felt he was pretty cool.
I think he's in the next one. I don't think he's in this one.
Is
I
he not
think,
in that
or
one?
is, or is he not?
I thought
I'm
he
getting
was.
confused. But either
I
way,
thought
like
he was.
we've watched the Phantom Menace and now the second one, which I forgot the name, the Clone Wars or whatever, Attack of the Clones.
See,
And
I haven't seen Attack of the Clones.
well, we're halfway through it now, but he's in both. He's definitely in the second one. There's not a lot of action going on
Oh,
yet.
fair enough.
Um,
Well, I
yeah.
will say, despite like I agree that it's not very good, but you got to respect the creative choice to take like an action like a sci-fi action classic and go, you know what? I'm going to turn this into a political drama, but in space, and make it like this galactic political drama that builds up to the rise of the dark side. And I thought it was quite interesting a choice. Like the older I get, the more I'm like, it's actually quite a bold choice. And I kind of respect it, but it just didn't work clearly. And as you say, because it tries to be kiddie as well. And I think it's obvious that at this point, you know, at this point in history, the most money you make out of movies was through the toys. And so you had to have like 1,000,001 toys come out of this movie to make as much money as possible. So I think characters like Jar Jar, all of these set pieces, like there's loads of stuff that they just what all the jet bikey things that Anakin has in that race, like they just throw in as much stuff as they can out so kids will go and buy all the toys as well. So I think that it loses sight of itself when it does stuff like that.
And it's also another thing I just remembered that was really shitty. Um, when they explained, this is the only film I think they do it. They try to explain the Force as having like you have these like certain little things that live in your blood, and like
Oh
if
yeah,
you
it's like a fucking microbe or something.
yeah, and if you have this in your blood, it can help you connect to the Force. And
That's
like
fucking
Anakin
bollocks.
has, yeah. And by the way, now I'm watching the second one. I might as well add this as well. Anakin is still fucking so annoying. It's Christian Haydenson. Like he's such a
Yeah.
fucking prick.
Wait,
Like
hang on a
fuck
minute.
off.
What? So what if you get a blood transfusion from a Jedi? What if you have to get? Yeah. What if a Jedi donates blood? Can you make Jedi?
That's an interesting thought. You could have done that with the clones. You would have had a clone
Dude,
Jedi army.
let's do that. When Star Wars become public domain in like 2077, we'll we'll do our own Star Wars. We'll do real Jedi cloning.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Want some more?
Yeah, let's do the last one. I don't know if I'm going to have 5 minutes, but I'll do my best.
All right. I'm going to turn it on now.
Okay, so what I think we should, what I'm waiting for more, what I'm excited for more of, I've watched season 4 of You, which is a TV show about stalker. He's a fucking nut. but they try and make him like the hero of his own story, and it's really quite good. Well, the first season's really good. Second and third season is like all right, I guess, but I'm invested now. So I watched season 4. Now, season 4 was all right, but it's very different to the first 3 seasons in that, like, he's not the stalker anymore. There's another guy on the loose who's worse than him, and he needs to stop him. So it's basically a whodunit detective story. And we follow this guy that's been in the first 3 seasons. He's now he's ran out to London. He's hiding out in London because in the previous seasons he's like a murderer and shit. So he's hiding out in London. He's got himself a professor gig at like a London uni, and he's like rubbing shoulders with all these like really higher class, up their own bollocks, fucking rich cunts that like you fucking can't stand all of these characters. They're just so awful. And the girl from Fresh Meat's in it. I forget the actress's name now, but she's actually pretty good. But she's fucking weird in it. Like she's like chopping and changing her mind like every 5 minutes. It gets really jarring sometimes. Strange. So like someone keeps picking off this group of friends who are all arseholes, and that he's become assimilated into the group. And like obviously because he's a murderer, you know, he's got a nose for this sort of shit. And then whoever it is pinning it. So anyway, the story escalates. We find out who the other guy is, and now we have to wait until the 9th of March, I think, for the second part of season 4. And so I'm looking forward to the second part because I was watching it and I thought to myself, you know what? I reckon he's actually killing everyone, and like all this other killer stuff's like just made up, like him excusing himself, like making excuses for himself, like, oh, I'm not good, I'm not doing that, that's someone else. But I think it's actually him. Finished watching it, had this thought, and like all on the internet everyone seems to agree that yeah, we think he's this other guy's in his head and it's actually him doing it. So I'm looking forward to the next season because I want to know if we're all right. Because I think, yeah, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it though. It's not great. I won't lie. It's not great, but it's fun.
I
I'm
think
invested in the characters, and I like the fucking. It's just a bit different, isn't it? It's just like it's a TV show where you follow a guy that's not actually very nice, but like he has a charm and a charisma about himself where he seems to be able to justify it not only to himself but to the audience as well. That it's okay to fucking murder people, stalk people, all this fucked up weird shit. Like honestly, like I can understand why people can identify with this guy. I don't get it with the Dahmer show. I don't understand how people can like Jeffrey Dahmer after the show. I do understand why this guy is likable. Like he is charming and charismatic. But when you hear his inner monologue shit, like he is just fucking awful. He is just a piece of shit. In all fairness, you wouldn't want him following you because you'll end up dead. He is fucking mental. He is, but he's charming with it. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but it's based on a book. I'm sure the book's better than the show. But the first season was very good. This one, it's all right, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. I'm hoping he dies, or I'm hoping he gets caught. I feel like the story needs to end here, where I don't feel like he should be able to get away with it. I think he needs to get caught now, and then end the show here. Is that my 5?
That's your 5, yeah.
All right. So yeah, season 4, part 2. Looking forward to it.
That's another one that I think I've seen on Netflix, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. But maybe
I won't lie, man. I think it's worth a watch. I definitely think you'll like season 1. And then by the
have,
end of season 1, you'll be invested enough to watch season 2 and 3.
yeah, I think I have become over time a bit like that, which is the worst thing. And you really shouldn't be like this. I judge books by their covers a bit more than I used to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't like the way that looks. Probably it's shit. And then I don't watch it. Or this, yeah, mostly with film and TV. And like, yeah, I shouldn't be like that. I should be more open.
Well, that's why you got me as a friend, man. I tell you to watch these things. Have you watched Bullet Train yet?
No, I haven't watched that yet. No.
Highly recommend.
Nice. Are you eating, by the way?
Yeah, I'm having a little munch.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry.
Okay, should I go ahead then with my one?
Let me stop munching. Hang on.
Finish crunching up.
Okay, go for it, man.
Okay, so what I would like more of is 1899. Have you heard of this one? Probably you have if you've been watching Netflix.
I think so.
It's basically the way I would describe it is if Lost was on the Titanic, because it's basically it's set in 1899 on a cruise line or whatever you call it, a streamliner, a boat that's going across the Atlantic to New York from Europe. And it's very international, which is what I used to really like about Lost. Everybody is from different places. You really have to like pay attention when you watch it because a lot of it's with subtitles. You got people speaking German, Danish, French, Spanish. I don't know what else. I can't remember. But there's lots of languages going on there. Lots of different languages being spoken. And they all have their kind of backstory and something's not quite right about them. And maybe a lot of them are running from something or running towards something, and you have some flashbacks. It's very Losty like to me. And of course, the ship is not really what you think it is. There are like secret compartments and areas that take you to different places, and they have to like destroy another ship because they've been told to by the ship's captain or whatever. And they find a boy on this ship, and basically, it's really crazy. At first, to be honest, yeah, this is another Netflix thing that I was like not really paying much attention to when I started watching it. But then I started, actually, it's pretty good. So I watched the whole thing. And yeah, the thing is though, is this show was pretty popular, but they cancelled it. And I think it's really stupid that they cancelled this show because I think had a good potential. It's made by the same people who made Dark, and you can really see their style. They're really good at write. They're really good. They really nail shit when they write stuff. When they write, the one thing I would say is a bit of a downside about that though, is that the guys at Dark, there always seems to be this bad guy who had some mystery thing going on. Who's always has all these monologues. He's constantly explaining something to the good guys about why he has to do what he has to do. And it's lots of this going on. It's a bit like a Bond villain who's constantly hinting something's about to happen all the time. Like that happened a lot in Dark, and it happens a bit in this show as well. Which is a bit, I don't know. I think they should be careful of whatever they make next. Please try not to use that again because it gets a bit too much. But yeah, one thing I will say about it being cancelled though is that the ending that they currently have for the first season could kind of work like as a self-contained show. Because, should I tell you what happens? Because I don't know if you'll watch it.
I mean, you're sort of selling me on it already, but I suppose. Go on.
Go on. Okay. So at the end, it turns out that they're not on a ship. They're not even in 1899, by the way. There's a fair bit of time traveling going on. You'll see that when they go to different places, like through these kind of portals that they have throughout the ship, it's basically like a giant computer program. And you find out at the end, they're actually in a spaceship because she wakes up and she sees everyone she knows who are in these kind of capsules.
For fuck's sake.
And she looks out the window and they're in space.
That sounds horrible.
Maybe they were right to cancel it then, huh?
Yeah, I'd cancel it. Just I wouldn't have put money in that.
Well, Netflix have decided to get rid of it now, so yeah, I quite liked it. You're never gonna find out what exactly is happening now. And I hope that they had an ending, but probably they did. Yeah. And there's always the chance that some people have said that because there was a show called Sense8. I don't know if you watched that. I really recommend that you watch that. These people who connected through their brains across the world. They cancelled that after like 2 seasons. He never got a proper ending, but they did make a film. So some people have said that there might be a film to tie off everything, or it's very possible that like HBO or someone else picks it up and continues it. So
True.
we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, I've stopped like 20 minutes too soon because I've kind of run out of stuff to say. Like I said earlier, these 2 shows that I mentioned, 1899 and Landscape, the ones I watched a while ago. So sorry for not being too fresh on them.
All right. Well, I'll give 1899 a go. It sounds interesting, but I'm going to hate the fucking ending.
Yeah, I think it kind of.
I suppose it's all about execution, but like,
Yeah,
you telling me that just fuck, I'd hate that. It just becomes like it's like a Doctor Who episode.
Nah, no, I wouldn't compare it. To be honest, I always hated Doctor Who. I wouldn't compare it to Doctor Who.
I wouldn't say I hate Doctor Who. I just don't. It's not good.
Yeah,
It's just it's fine. There's some good ideas in Doctor Who. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't love it. I wouldn't say I'd hate it.
I would.
Well, in the same vein, like it's like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer as well, isn't it? It's the same sort of shit, and I quite like Buffy, so I do think execution is important. I actually think Buffy's really good. I enjoy Buffy. I haven't seen it in a while though.
Yeah, I have heard some people say that there are certain episodes and stuff that are pretty good, they're quite smart. So
I actually quite like the whole show. Like there's definitely bad episodes, but and even the spin-off show Angel, like I thought it had some really good ideas. So yeah, like a lot of these shows, these anthology shows, almost like there's a different adventure every episode, and because you're dealing with, in the case of Buffy, the occult and the supernatural, and with Doctor Who, sci-fi, there's just so many stories. There's so much scope that you can just tell an infinite amount of stories. But unfortunately, they do bleed into one another. Like every Doctor Who episode feels quite samey. So I suppose that's why I'm comparing it to Doctor Who, because I feel like I've seen this before. Literally on a fucking Titanic. The Doctor Who has an episode where they're on the Titanic in space.
yeah, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. It's like, it's literally, that's why I was like, that sounds terrible, because it just sounds like Doctor Who to me. But look, I'll give it a watch. Maybe the execution can salvage it.
Yeah. Cool, man. I think we're good for this monthly.
The monthly round hump.
Yeah,
Are we going to continue? Are we still going to call it the monthly round hump?
No. Let's. Otherwise, we'll confuse the shit out of people. Let's give it.
I think our naming conventions for all of our episodes of confusing the shit out of people.
Yeah,
we've got nothing concrete. Well, look, thank you for coming out. It's been a strange month for movies for me. Like, I've not hated really anything, and I've had a surplus of stuff to talk about. It's been difficult for me to choose. There was a couple of other things I wouldn't have minded discussing. I saw a film called Come Play, which was a film that basically had the same plot as something that I'd come up with back at uni, and it was. Although, I mean, it's completely different. In all fairness, so like this is a bonus film, real quick. So I won't even take 5 minutes. But Come Play, it's just about this family. They've got like an iPad, and like this ebook has just downloaded itself, and it's like a children's horror fairy tale kind of book. But it keep talking about this ghost. I think he's called Harry or something. They keep talking about this ghost, and then he keeps like appearing and shit. But you can only see him when you look through the fucking camera on the iPad. You can't see him in reality. You have to look through the device. And it was an idea I'd had years ago. I wanted to do like a Rear Window ripoff, but like a security guard in a service station at like 3 a.m. So there's barely anyone there. And like there's an entity, and you can only see it through the cameras and the security. And then obviously he'll get his phone out And like, so yeah, I'd come up with this idea bloody years ago, and it's just another fucking example of me not writing shit down and not trying to get it made, and someone fucking beats me to it. It just happens too often. Get so annoying.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I remember
Yeah.
for a long time when I think I was still in high school, secondary school. I was thinking for ages, why has no one made a TV series about Hannibal Lecter? Because I didn't know
Yeah.
too much about the character, but I was just reading on Wikipedia. There's so much here about this guy's life that could be a thing. Like it's not just the films. Everyone just thinks about the few, I think 4 or 5 films they have, and then they made a TV show. But actually, I think the TV show could have been better. It's a bit weird. But yeah, I was like, fuck's sake. I got way too slow to have got in there.
I didn't mind the TV show. I think I watched the first season. That's the one with Mads Mikkelsen, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's actually
Yeah,
really good.
yeah,
I just
he's
feel
great.
I just feel the story was very jumbled
Yeah,
and it was trying to I think they fucked up a lot of there's a lot of good characters that are in like later films and they just squished them into one episode, just like just jizzed all over them and threw them in the toilet, you know? Like
yeah.
there's just wasted a whole
Oh,
fucking good
yeah.
character that you could
They,
really
I see.
develop for later on. But like,
I seem to recall them wasting the Gary Oldman character.
yeah, like
Yeah,
what I don't know.
now
That's
that you've
such a poor
mentioned it.
idea. Like
Yeah.
anyway,
Anywho, thank you for coming out to listen to us, everyone. We are Film Shrapnel. Craig, I love you to pieces.
I love
Let's
you too,
do this
dude.
again. Let's do this again sometime.
Knees.
Knees. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Shrapnel.